Hello, listeners. It's Gunter Swoboda here with some exciting news. We're on the lookout for sponsors to join us on our incredible journey with Inspire Change with Gunter. If your organization cares deeply about meaningful conversations around masculinity, self development, and mental health, we'd love to partner with you. Our podcast has a wonderful, dedicated audience committed to personal growth and positive social change. By sponsoring Inspire Change with Gunter, your brand will connect with listeners who truly value thoughtful discussion and support initiatives that promote real transformation. We're incredibly proud to be ranked number 1 in Australia and number 5 in the USA on FeedSpot's top men's mental health podcasts. For more information on how to become a sponsor, please reach out to Miranda Spiegner Sapon, our showrunner and executive producer. We'd love to explore how we can work together to inspire change. Now, thank you for your continued support, and let's keep inspiring change together.
You're listening to Inspire Change, a broadcast that strives to educate, motivate, and empower men to challenge traditions of masculinity. To guide us through the intricacies and intersections of emotions, relationships, and male identity is renowned psychologist, author, and speaker Gunter Swoboda. This is Inspire Change.
Before I begin the actual podcast, I would like to respectfully acknowledge the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, who are the traditional custodians of the land on which I work. I would also like to pay my respects to their elders past and present. Welcome everybody to another episode of Inspire Change with Gunter. I'm your host. Hey everyone, welcome back to Inspire Change with Gunter. This is the place where we think, rethink about what strength, courage, and connection looks like in everyday life. I'm your host, Gunter Swoboda. I'm a psychologist, psychotherapist, researcher, and general sticky beak. So what are we going to do today? I thought long and hard about this, and given the fact that I'm currently doing some fairly intense research at uni, which I'm thoroughly enjoying, I thought I'd touch on a topic that's particularly relevant, not just to my research, but also to my work with men and the whole Making Good Men Great project. Now, you might be thinking about what the hell is he talking about? Well, I've spoken about philosophy, I've spoken about science, and so I want to take a dive into a specific field that conceptually feels new, but sort of has been around for a while. And that field is neuroanthropology. Now, don't panic, I know it's a mouthful, but it boils down to this, and that is that the world you grow up in, the people around you, the games you play, the way you're taught to stand tall or to stay quiet, trains your nervous system. Now, when I talk about nervous system, I'm talking about your brain and the whole rest of the network, the neural network through your body. Okay? Now, you don't have to be an anatomist or you don't have to be an anthropologist for this. Just follow me along and see if this is going to make you not just curious, but also give you some ideas about change. So when I say it trains your nervous system, what are we talking about? Now, we're talking not just about your opinions. We're talking about your body, your reflexes, your breath, the whole system and how it works. And that has huge implications for how we show up as men, as partners, as dads, friends, and leaders. So in this podcast, I'm going to do 3 things. I'm going to give you a quick human-sized history, synopsis of neuroanthropology. what it adds to the way we understand change, especially in my case, change in men, and why it matters overall on the big picture of masculinity, and how to start retraining those automatic reactions we think we have. And while I'm at it, let me give you a shout out to a friend of the show, Professor Greg Downey. He's been on the Inspire Change before, and he will be coming back soon. I'll tell you more about Greg towards the end. So, quick human bite-sized history of the field. Neuroanthropology, from my reading, came from a simple question, and that is, how does culture get into the body and the brain? It's where anthropology, the study of people and culture, means neuroscience. So the two interconnect. And so neuroscience, as you most likely know, is fundamentally the study of the brain and nervous system. Now here's an easy way to picture this. Think about a surfer learning to read waves, or a footballer learning to time a tackle, or a musician feeling rhythm before a note is played. After a while, it's not thinking anymore. The body just knows, right? The brain and nervous system gets tuned by practice, by coaching, and through the community. Neuroanthropology says this isn't just about sports or music, it's everything. How we stand when we're challenged, how we breathe when we're stressed, the way we look someone in the eye, how quickly we jump to fix a problem rather than pausing to connect with the person. The world we live in shapes those reactions. The training is mostly invisible, but it's everywhere. So those of you starting to think ahead, can you begin to see where I'm going with this? Now, one of the researchers who made this real for people is Professor Greg Downey. He studied the Brazilian art of capoeira and showed that skill isn't only in your head, it's about timing, posture, breath, gaze, and community rituals. In other words, culture writes itself into our bodies. Once you see that, you can't unsee this idea. And the key idea is that what we call instinct often turns out to be long practice. The habits we were coached into, the ones our body keeps going to on autopilot. Now, this can be a really, really good thing, but in some respects, there's some flaws with this as well. Just think about the bad habits we get into. So what does neuroanthropology add to science and to, the social sciences in particular, and in my case, to psychology and psychotherapy? Well, the first bit is that your body is part of the story. We're used to treating the mind like a head-only thing. Neuroanthropology says, hang on, your breath, your muscle tone, and the micro moves are part of your mind in action. If you always tighten your jaw in conflict, or your voice gets hard when you need to feel soft, that's not just a quirk, it's training. Your body has learned a move for that moment. Secondly, practice beats pep talks. We all love a good insight, but insights can fade under pressure or simply not occur at all. Practice sticks. If your nervous system has learned control first, feelings later, you won't change it with a slogan, an affirmation, or just some positive pep talks. You change it with reps, repetition, little practices that calm your system open your attention, and build a new default. Think of it like learning guitar. Slow, clumsy at first, then smoother, then natural. I love playing percussion. My favourite instruments in percussion essentially are hand drums, congas, bongos, and more recently, the cajon. Now, despite the fact that I have really, quite a bit of practice on congas and bongos, when I got the cajon, I went back to basics. And it was actually interesting because I needed to remind myself that begin this as if you were a beginner. Engage the beginner's mind slowly, right? Keep going slowly, because I kept wanting to speed up. I knew rhythms, I knew patterns. Let's just get down to it. But I wanted to create this new sense of discipline so that it too can become part of my body. So it took quite a bit for me just to go, okay, let's start slow. Let's do that for 10 minutes. Then pick it up, do it for another 5, maybe 10 minutes. See how you go. Come back, reflect. So this is what practice is all about. Now, interestingly, even our professional styles trained. So, for example, when you're a therapist, a teacher, a coach, or a manager, you've been trained formally and informally in how to sit, how to speak, and how to steer a conversation. Now, that style often carries a gendered flavour without us noticing it. All right? One of the interesting ones is that when women act assertively, often men read it as being aggressive. Okay, just a touch of that. Now, some of us learn to lead with explanations, to fill the silence, to fix things fast. Remember, as men, we're socialised to go from the problem to the solution, and there's very little in between. This needs to change. We need to learn to wait, to invite, to reflect. None of this is random. It's, again, trained into us by the groups we belong to. When I teach men better communications, the first thing that I focus on is to try and help them stop the internal dialogue that's jumping ahead to the solution. Oh, I know what she's going to say. No, you don't. And even if you did, by chance, go quiet, go still, empty your mind. Now, interestingly enough, most guys that pick up on this and actually put it into practice come back reporting how successful their new conversation, their new communication was with their partner.
I wanted to introduce you to the folks over at More Labs. They have a product called Morning Recovery. It's the #1 alcohol recovery supplement that helps you wake up clear-headed and refreshed. Clinically proven and trusted by thousands with 20 million plus bottles sold and a 4.9 star rating on Google. It works. Try it risk-free, and we will give you an exclusive discount for you to enjoy with our promo code at morelabs.com. Details and links about the company, their products will be listed in the show notes, so please check there for more information and also the direct link to our promo code.
Try this little teeny experiment. For 90 seconds, notice your breathing. Is it high and shallow or low and easy? Check your jaw and shoulders. Are they braced? Think of a recent disagreement. Did you move towards control, like here's the answer, or did you move towards contact, connection? So tell me more about what's going on for you. That quick scan shows you what your body has already learnt to do. Now, the good news, anything we've learnt can be relearnt. Now, let me go a bit more in depth as to why this matters for being masculine, our masculinity. Many of us grow up with an old script, and that is that competence equals control. So we get messages like, keep it together, don't show too much, find a solution quickly, and then be very certain about it. Now, that script, you got to remember from what we're saying, isn't just in your head. It's sort of baked into your nervous system. So when your partner is upset, or your teenager pushes back, or a colleague challenges you, your body may already be halfway into fix it, shut it down, and move on, before your brain can even catch up. Now, my suggestion is let's use this knowledge and replace that with a new training plan. And here are 3 simple pivots. Firstly, try a curious pause before you speak. 1 deep inhale, a longer exhale, and then a question like, what's the hardest part of this for you? That small pause cools the system and opens the door to connection. I always approach difficult conversation through a place of curiosity. It makes a huge difference to the way that I feel myself into the conversation. The second bit is take it from armor to awareness. Pick one body cue, say your jaw, that's often a good one, or your shoulders. Let's go with the jaw. When you feel it clamp, silently name it. That's the armor. Then deliberately soften it. You haven't surrendered anything. You've simply chosen a different kind of strength. Now, thirdly, we need to go from solo, autonomous, to shared regulation. Now, what do I mean by that? Most of the time, most of us stay focused on trying to calm ourselves alone, autonomously. Now, my suggestion is try co-regulation. So I can say, I can slow down to my partner. Do you want to set the pace? Let the other person's rhythm guide the moment. It's amazing how quickly tension drains when someone feels respected and followed. Now, if you're a therapist, a coach, or a leader, this stuff's gold. Learn to track your timing and tone. Reflect. Do you rush to explanations? Do you lean forward and take over the space? So, as an antidote, practice holding a little bit more silence. Let the other person shape the conversation for a beat longer than is comfortable. And that's how a new default gets built. So the bottom line in this is that the way we do masculinity shows up in the body first. Eye contact, breath, posture, vocal pace. Even the resonance in our voice may be learnt to a large degree. Yes, men's voices tend to be deeper, but we learn how to deepen it. We reflect that. We mirror it, for example, from our father and other men of authority. If we want a more courageous, compassionate version of being a man, of our masculinity, we don't just swap ideas. We need to retrain the body to support the man we're becoming. So as I'm heading to the close of this particular podcast, which I hope everyone's enjoyed, let me give you a quick word on Professor Downey. Greg's an anthropologist who's helped a lot of people understand how culture trains the nervous system. He's known for his work on capoeira and skill learning, how communities and practice shape what our bodies can do and how we feel doing it. Now, Greg's joined us before on Inspire Change, and if I have my way, he'll be back on the show soon for a show which is going to take a little bit of a twist because he wants to interview me. But I'm sure what's going to happen is that the two of us are going to have a very satisfying, meaningful conversation. Now, part of that, I'm hoping that we're going to dig into practical ways men can retrain the nervous system for connection rather than control. Now, that in itself will be strength, the kind of strength that calms a room, listens deeply, and still takes action. So keep an ear out. I'm excited particularly for that conversation. So to wrap it for today, neuroanthropology says your world trains your body, and your body keeps that world going. In working in trauma, Bessel van der Kolk put it really, really well when he says the body keeps the score, but it's more than that. It's an embedded, lived experience. Now, if we want to change, we need to train differently. So this week, try the curious pause, the soft jaw, and one moment of shared pacing in a tough conversation. Small practices, big ripple effects. Now, if this episode has helped you, please share it with someone who's ready for a different kind of strength, for a different kind of masculinity. Now, having said that, this is also really useful for women because they live in a gendered body as well. So please follow the show, leave a rating, and check the notes for a quick summary and links to past episodes, especially the one with Greg. I'm Gunter. Thanks for listening, and keep inspiring change.
Hello to all our listeners. We thank you for tuning in and promoting positive social change. This makes you a part of Gunter's efforts in transforming not only men's lives, but lives in general, and we are grateful that you have joined us. This week, we're taking a look at the global listeners list, and for the first time, we would like to share our gratitude with our listeners in Pakistan. You are number 15 on our global listeners list. Congratulations! And thank you so much for your continued support. We appreciate your efforts to support positive social change. I, Devonna Prinzi, the co-executive producer, and our showrunner, Miranda Spigner-Sapone, sincerely thank you and ask that you please take the time to like, follow, subscribe, and share, as your efforts make a difference to everyone here at Inspire Change with Gunter. Please remember, if you want to share your story of social change, feel free to reach out to the show directly. Please see the show notes for our contact information. As always, thank you to each and every one of our listeners. And most importantly, please keep inspiring positive social change.
Love to hear from you. And if you're interested, please check out my work on www.gunterswoboda.com or www.goodmengreat.com.
Thank you for listening to Inspire Change, a broadcast that strives to educate, motivate, and empower men to challenge traditions of masculinity. For more information on the Making Good Men Great movement, or for individual or group coaching sessions with Gunter, visit goodmengreat.com.